Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes, or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
It's a giant-sized man thing.
That's right, kids. Back by popular demand. 1 week of Man Thing wasn't enough for you, so here you go. Here's some more. Here's some more Man Thing. Here's some more Man Thing, baby. All right, welcome back to Marvel Tales. I am Phil, and joining me, as always, the man who measures all Man Thing stories. It is giant-sized Al Thing himself.
Justin the Owl, the purveyor of all giant-sized man things.
Justin says, measure from the staple, not from, Alright, kids. Like we said, this time we're going to cover giant-sized man... We're going to finish up the giant-sized man things. Giant-sized man thing 4 and 5. And Marvel 2-in-1, number 1. The Thing guest starring the Man Thing.
Yes. A Tale of Two Things.
Hey-oh! Man, we're really running the gamut of titles for your biography. Jeez. All right.
A Tale of Two Things, a memoir. My story.
It was the best of Man Things. It was the worst of Man Things. All right, hold on. It was the best of Man Things. It was the worst of Man Things. Oh my. All right, so yeah, you said you did have news, because I know we did. You were talking, because we will get some more Genus Fell next year. So you said what is it? The Omnibus is out. Is there an Omnibus out?
Yeah, the Omnibus was just released, I think, either last week or the week before, which collects both of the series that were released later on in the early 2000s. I think the one was 30 issues and one was 25 or something like that. But both of those series are collected in that volume, and I'm going to be getting that very soon, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Because, yes, kids, next year we'll get to at least one Genus Fell episode, so.
We will. I think we're going to start from the beginning of the Peter David series, which I'm very excited about.
So good.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, yeah. We might get 2 Howard the Duck backups this time, because I think this one is, what is it, Garko the Man-Frog?
Oh, Garko the Man-Frog. Yes. There we go. Yeah.
So, Man-Frogs and Hellcows. Oh, my.
It's a little bit of everything in this one.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, should we jump into these?
Yes. There's a lot of story here. Yeah.
That's right. So especially if we have actual backups in the on the app now.
Yeah.
Oh man, let's look at some of these other backups. Oh my lord, just some of just get paid. I entered the ... doorway to doom.
Doorway to doom.
Yeah, it's called the Latverian border.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Ooh, a man with no past. Okay. All right, kids. So we'll get to the Man Thing story here. Giant-sized Man Thing number 4 with the best cover of any of the giant-sized Man Things, in my opinion.
I agree. I love this cover. I would love to have a poster of this on my wall somewhere. Oh, I love it so much. It's one of my favorite, Man Thing images on anything, period.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't know, it's just like the pencils, the colors, everything just pops on that cover, yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
Giant-sized Man Thing number 4 from May 1975. The Kids' Night Out. Writer Steve Gerber, pencilers Ed Hannigan and Ron Wilson, inker Frank Springer, colorist Phil Rachelson, letterer Tom Wojciechowski, and editor Len Wein. The Man-Thing finds himself drawn to the emotions that are coming from a funeral being held for Edmund Winshed. Attending the funeral was his parents, uncle, aunt, grandmother, gym teacher, and classmates. However, when Alice Rhymes, Edmund's classmate and only friend, interrupts the eulogy to call them all on how horribly they treated Edmund, she is violently removed by Edmund's uncle. However, she is saved by the Man-Thing, which is drawn by the violent emotions and burns Edmund's uncle, and Alice manages to escape. The next day, Alice takes an essay written by the late Edmund to have it published in the school's newspaper. The essay inside is Edmund's life story, where he talks about how he was always treated poorly because of his weight, and how his gym teacher ultimately caused his death by pushing him too hard and literally making Edmund run to death. Believing that it's all lies perpetrated by Alice, the gym teacher calls in the Winshed clan to confront her. As they are about to burn Edmund's memoirs, the Man-Thing arrives and attacks them all. Each victim gives in to their fears and is burned and killed in a fitting epitaph to their behavior to Edmund. After the attacks end, the Man-Thing walks off again into the swamp. Oh, wait a minute. So here it's saying here this story is continued in Man-Thing number 17.
Oh, no kidding.
So there's more to this?
I'll have to go back and revisit this because, to be honest with you, I don't remember that.
Unless it just picks up where that left off.
Possibly. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, okay, because I just looked it up. It's saying, after following the Mad Vikings murder spree, I guess, from Man-Thing 16 and the Man-Thing's rampage of a local high school, which is this issue, Citrusville is under a strict curfew. As the authorities and vigilante groups try to track down both menaces.
Okay.
So I think it just continued as like, the Man-Thing just trashed this high school,
Yeah, he trashed his high school, killed all these people, yeah.
Yeah, so what did you think of this one? I mean...
I love this one. This one's actually my favorite from all of the giant-sized Man-Thing. I love this. The story I thought was kind of perfect in the way that it was told. Even though the first time I read this, I kind of chuckled at the fact that these people are holding this funeral for this kid in the middle of a swamp, in the middle of this driving rainstorm, with lightning so severe that it shoots this tree down, which almost kills this deer only a few feet away from where this funeral's taking place.
I know.
This is a violent thunderstorm, and these people are having a funeral procession, a funeral in the middle of this swamp for this kid.
I believe they would do it in the swamp just because they didn't care about this kid enough. It's probably like a cheap burial or something. But I'm like, no, I don't think they would sit out here for this kid they really didn't care for in this driving rainstorm, In
the driving rain, even with that tarp hanging over them, like soaking wet with rain, even that they were all soaked and wet and miserable.
But it's like even with the priest and stuff, I think they were all trying to pretend that, they actually cared for the kid, which when they didn't,
Right. But I love that. I mean, any kid like me that's ever been, bullied in high school can obviously relate to to Edmund, obviously. But the way that his diary was written, I thought was really masterful in the way that Steve Gerber kind of incorporated the artwork, interspersed it in with the text of Edmund's diary.
The text pages
really,
of
really
the actual,
cool.
What he wrote,
with the symbolic imagery and kind of like there are a couple of almost like kind of black and white images and a couple of shots that look like a Polaroid where it was like a side-by-side comparison of both Edmund and Man-Thing. It was really cool. It was just really interesting the way that was done.
Yeah, because he compared himself to the Man-Thing because he's like, my misshapen body and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He thought that he was a monster because of the way that people treated him.
Yeah.
In a lot of the ways that the Man-Thing was a monster. Yeah. And that piece of crap gym teacher basically pushed him to death where he had a heart attack. And so this story to me, kind of like one of the other ones we talked about in the previous episode, it feels a lot like a classic, like old monster, swamp monster story where you have these people that at the beginning of the story, it looks like they're one thing. But then throughout the course of the story, you realize, oh, wait, the people are the monsters. And it's actually this thing that's the good guy, the savior. And we saw that a few times in like the Twilight Zone and Outer Limits and things like that type of those old sci-fi stories and things like that. But it was really cool to see that within the context of a Man-Thing story.
Yeah, because except for like the very beginning and the very end, you could almost take the Man-Thing out of this story.
Right. But it makes sense to have him involved because Man-Thing has this kind of empathic connection, like in the beginning, where he senses the suffering of the deer that's been trapped by this tree that's fallen over on it. So he picks up the tree and saves the deer, and feels like the elation and the joy that the deer feels now that it's free and it's safe, and goes running off. That type of stuff it makes sense because it's drawn to this funeral where there's a lot of emotions taking place.
Yeah.
And it's drawn to this school where there's a lot of emotions taking place. And it's drawn to this girl who's just consumed with emotions over the fact that her best friend is dead, and was basically murdered by these people. So I like that the Man-Thing was kind of compelled by the fact that there were all of this whirlwind of emotions taking place in this little school, this little area, this little town.
Yeah, again, the Gerber did a good job on this because, I mean, this story like this where Man-Thing isn't like the main like focus and stuff. I mean, that could go sideways on a writer, but I mean, no, he pulled it off well. And I know like we kind of came up with this because I know Lilith and I were doing some of the 90s 1989 Spider-Man issues where Mary Jane's cousin has like bulimia.
Yeah, Christy.
Yeah, and
Christy.
we were like, oh, I wonder if Jerry Conway like knew someone, if he just came up with this. So that's why I'm like, I wonder if Steve Gerber like had someone in his life like this, or even like something Edmund, in his own past. I mean, I have no idea what. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to know what was his inspiration for this story, because it's very heavy. I mean, compared to the other giant-sized Man-Thing issues, this is, I think, the story with the most weight.
Yes,
it has the most weight to it. And it feels like the most complete story.
Yeah,
with an actual beginning, middle, and end that's completely fleshed out. And I love this. I love everything about this. The artwork is great. The way that the characters are introduced in the beginning. I still, every time the uncle punches that girl in the face, I'm like, yikes.
Oh, I know.
I'm like, would they have done that 50 years ago? But then I think, well, in the South, probably they still do it. In the swamp laws.
I know, when you think about it, it's like one
punch high school girls and get away with it.
Oh, Lord, yeah. I was gonna say, only one punch. I mean, it's some of these people just could have been worse.
Yeah.
But
what a nasty piece of work these people are, and I love it because they all get their comeuppance at the end, like a traditional sci-fi story. All the bad guys get what's coming to them in the end.
But just the kid being picked on. I mean, like you said, a lot of us can relate to that. Again, I never had a weight problem, but all through most of the time I was in school, I was a lot of times I was the shortest kid in the class. I didn't have. I was a late bloomer. I didn't have a growth spurt till probably senior year or after. It's just
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. That's why I say I always that's why I love Spider-Man. I could always relate to early Peter Parker and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of us comic book fans, in some form or fashion, have experienced this.
And it's so funny because it's we're close to the same age. Back in the day, if you brought comic books to school or something, you got mocked and stuff. Now it's
totally.
Everyone's like, oh, did you see the new Marvel movie? Everyone's like,
oh, cool.
Oh, tell me about what was that thing in the Marvel movie? It's okay, now you guys get it. Okay.
Yeah. 30, 40 years later, now it's cool. I see how it is.
I think it's just the thing. It's a lot of people don't read anymore. A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I think the world would be a better place if I don't care if I don't care what you read. I mean, if whatever your interest is, if it's a magazine, even if it's a Sports Illustrated or a Guns and Ammo, or if you're just reading in the back of the cereal box.
Guys,
people just read.
Read something.
Yes.
Read something. Even if it's a 2-page short story.
Yes.
Even if it's an article on some stupid website, just read it. Because it's true. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. And that goes for your brain, too. If you don't use your brain, you'll lose it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, read something every day.
There's just too many choices out there now. It's like, we had to read, kids.
For us, it's tough, too, because there's a lot of actually new stuff coming out that's really good. Mm-hmm. And they're reprinting all of the old stuff that you and I have loved for years, or that have wanted to read for years, but couldn't because we didn't want to pay like $100 for a back issue or something like that. Mm-hmm. But now we can read them because they're reprinted in epic collections and omnibuses and all kinds of other stuff. So yeah, it's great. But it is a problem though, because it's like, gosh, what do I read tonight? I've got this mountain of stuff to read and I don't know which one to choose.
I know. I'm always like, I got a few new issues to read, and it's like, I got to read this for the podcast and stuff. It's just...
Right. Yeah. I got to read this for the show, but I'm going to read this afterwards because exactly. Pretty soon the reading time becomes a little bit longer, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah, no, I would. Before I podcasted, man, I would just I'd just go through stacks of comics, and be like, okay, next. I'm just like enjoying them, but I'm just like, let's go. Yeah. What do I want to read? I'm like, let me grab a couple years of whatever title and just read through it. And
right, yeah, I'm in a Spider-Man mood tonight. Yeah, I love it.
All right, so okay, should we do the Howard the Duck backups too?
Yes, yeah, we should. I think.
All right, Frog Death is the Howard the Duck one.
I love this. I love this so much.
I was gonna say, is that the same? Is that the same creative team? I'm not seeing the creative team on here.
It's Steve Gerber's the writer. Frank Brenner is the artist and colorist. Tom Orzechowski lettering, and Carl Banks is listed as spiritual guide. So he must have been the editor.
I was gonna say, I guess I could just bring it up on the app here. I already had it open. All right. Oh my god. We glossed over the funniest thing in that Man-Thing story when the janitor throws the floor sweeper at him.
Yeah,
he just whips it.
He throws it back through the window.
Yeah, and it hits the one guy. Yeah,
I love that. And he fuses that dude's hands together.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's some good stuff.
He grabs the one woman's mouth and
mouth burns her.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so good. Yeah, this is my favorite for sure.
Oh yeah, there it is. There's the Howard the Duck.
There he is. Wow.
All right. So, you did the credits. Frog Death. After months of falling between the dimensional void, that he was stranded on during his battle against the Overmaster, Howard lands back on Earth. However, this time he lands in Cleveland. Fate worse than death.
No, anywhere but Cleveland.
Could be worse. Could be that hive of scum and villainy, New Jersey. It's an old man Lowe's joke.
Yeah, Cleveland over New Jersey. Yeah.
Befriending some children, they take Howard to the nearest cigar shop, where the indifferent owner is given a shock first by Howard's currency, U.S. money with ducks for presidents, and later his appearance. When asking the children why the cigar shop owner was on edge, they point out Garko, a man who, since moving into the neighborhood, has sat in the window of his fourth-floor apartment, looking into a jar and occasionally yelling about taking over the world. Garko debates over the merits of ruling the world and decides that the point of acquiring power would be to get more, which would equate to killing people. Opting to just cut out the world conquering and skip to the killing, he consumes the potion in his bottle and transforms into a man-frog creature. When the rampaging Garko approaches Howard and the boys, Howard sends them off to call the police while he battles the man-frog. During the fight, Garko begins to shrink and turn into a real frog. Swinging blindly, Howard accidentally strikes a police officer who has arrived at the scene. Not believing his story about a giant man-frog, the police arrest Howard, instead believing him to be the maniac that was called in about. As the police car drives away, it runs over the frog body of Garko.
Oops.
So yes, so it's the next giant size issue. Yeah, where we get, I think, Howard's in jail and we get the Hellcow.
You get the Hellcow, yeah.
All right, so thoughts, Justin?
I love this one. The first time I saw Garko sitting in that windowsill, just kind of staring at the jar, looking completely insane. I lost it laughing. It is so funny.
It's just so funny. It's like the Marvel Universe. Yeah, you just have some random guy in Cleveland sitting there staring at a jar of potion and be like, should I become a frog? Oh, why the hell not?
yeah, why not? And then he just drinks it. Bottoms up!
Because I don't think we even say where it comes from. It's just like, I got this potion. I'll drink it.
Yeah. It is the dialogue. You're doomed, Doc. There's no escape from a leaping man-frog.
So choose, so fear me, fall at my feet, or perish. Like crush my car.
Howard grabs a trash can lid and a stick and starts fighting him with that.
I know, it's so funny. It's like the Marvel Universe. It's like, it's not New York, it's Cleveland. So yes, he's not fighting an Avenger or anything. It's a talking duck with a cigar in his mouth.
With a cigar and a little tiny hat. Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. And he accidentally clocks one of the police officers in the face with the bat.
Hey, Frog, sure, buddy. We'll talk about it at the station after we get you out of that duck suit.
Yeah. Then they discover soon, it's not a suit.
I know. But yeah, the last panel is they drive over the frog.
Squish. Oh, poor Garko. He should have stayed in his windowsill. He should have stayed in his windowsill, just staring at that bottle.
I know. That's quite the story. Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, it's so funny. I love it.
That's another, like, Twilight Zone-esque, like, thing, or, like those old horror movies. It's like, become a creature to take over the world. Yeah, and then he ends up getting just run over by a cop car as a regular frog.
At the very end, yeah. The ironic death.
Yeah. I know, like, Noel likes this Gerber stuff for, like, the social, like, messages. I think I like Gerber for, like, the weird, like, sci-fi, twisty Twilight Zone stuff. The
weird stuff, totally. Yeah, that's one of the main reasons I like it too. Yeah, there's so many layers to his scripts. That's one of the reasons I love it the most.
Oh yeah.
There's always something going on, like with this issue with the main story. There's a really deep, heavy story. But the issue before that, number 3, you get this high fantasy sword and sorcery, like Dungeons and Dragons type story. So I love it that from one issue to the next, you never really know what you're going to get from Steve Gerber. And that's
true.
One of the things that I love the most about it.
Doc walking around with no pants on.
I think the pants come off next.
All
right. Should we get to the next one?
Yes, we've got actually 3 stories in the next one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or 4, actually.
Was Gerber just like, I got enough content. We don't need any reprints.
Yeah. Just cranking them out.
Yeah. Yeah, number 4 is, the cover of the 5's not bad, but yeah, 4 is definitely the superior cover.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that one. I'm going to have to look for a poster of that, I think. I've made up my mind.
Oh, yeah, this is Hellcow. I love at the bottom of the cover. Extra, Howard the Duck battles for his life against the most incredible vampire of all.
Yeah. And that is a true statement, folks.
Okay, I get it. So, yeah, by most incredible vampire of all, they mean, yeah, you're not going to believe this.
Good old Bessie.
All right. Giant-sized man thing number 5. Giant-sized man thing number 5. Again, that has to be the dirtiest name in comics, right? Giant-sized man thing.
Really? They had to have known at the time what they were doing. They had to have.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so Giant-sized man thing number 5, August 1975. So yeah, 5 issues, and it was only 174 to 75. So I'm thinking they did at least seems like they did at least 2 or 3 a year. So
Yeah.
68 big pages for 50 cents, kids.
Yeah.
Modern comics could never.
I know. 50 years ago, man. I was getting a time machine and stock up.
Well, that's like Loth and I were talking about on the new Salty and Petty episode. We were doing the Spawn comic books.
Oh, yeah.
Those are still at $2.99. Like,
oh, really?
Todd McFarlane.
The new ones?
all the current stuff.
No
It's
kidding.
$2.99. Yeah, and he has like cardstock covers on those like every time, and it's like we're like, how is he doing that? Yeah. And then Spawn 350 is coming. I was looking at the solicit. It's a double size issue, and it's still only gonna be like $4.99, I think.
No kidding.
For 48 pages. Yeah.
Well, good for you, Todd. Yeah, I like that.
So that's what Lil's like. I think he actually made a deal with the devil.
Well, he's got a lot of money. He doesn't need all the extra.
Yeah. All right. So, Fear times 3. Writer Steve Gerber, of course. Penciler Ed Hannigan. Inker Dan Adkins. Colors Glennis Ween. Letterer Gaspar Saladino. And editor Len Wein. Okay. Yeah. So this is split up. All right. So the first one is Fear times 3. The recent past. Ted Salas and Ellen Brandt attend a carnival in Citrusville. They stop at Madame Schwabada's fortune-telling kiosk, and the old woman agrees to read their palms. She receives disturbing psychic impressions from Ted Salas and tells him 3 horrifying tales of his ultimate future fate. All right. All right, so the first one is there's a party in 6G.
It's a hell of a party.
An occultist named Margaret and her followers wish to summon a demon known as the Etherold. To do so, they require the sacrifice of an innocent baby. They break into the apartment building of a woman that Margaret knows and kidnap her son, Alan. Wait a minute. There's a link to Alan? What is this? I was going to say, is there actually no, I don't know. I thought there was an entry for him. I guess not. The man-thing who happens to be in the area senses the frantic emotions of the infant and finds himself drawn towards the apartment building. He miraculously manages to operate the elevator and rises to the 6th floor. He bursts into the room just as Margaret and her cronies invoke the demon, Etherold. Everything erupts into chaos, but the man-thing rescues baby Alan before the cultists can offer him up as sacrifice. While the man-thing destroys several of the cultists, Etherold attacks Margaret. Without anything binding him to the material world, Etherold soon returns to his nether realm dimension. All right, do we want to discuss that one first before we go on?
Yeah, definitely. I love this. I love the artwork in this one so much. Tom Sutton is just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
The detail on the demon, that one kind of full page spread where she's summoning the demon, he's kind of looming behind her with all the cultists chanting around her. I mean, it's so great. I just love it. It's classic, like, 70s horror comic stuff here. It is funny that the man-thing somehow managed to find his way up in the elevator.
Yeah, because like the doors close and it goes up, and he's like, "Wait a minute, a box going up. What is this?"
Yeah, but it does make sense because if he was going to use the stairwell, there's no way that he would have gotten there in time. It would have taken him forever to get up there.
I do find it funny, like when they fought, like Alan and Man-Thing fought the window, and Man-Thing cushions the fall and stuff. You know.
Yes. Yeah. Saves the kid with his mossy form.
Yeah, because I mean, again, it's a baby. I don't think he realizes he's in danger. He's all happy.
Yeah. He probably just thinks that Big Thing smells kind of funny. That's all.
I know.
It smells a little like the swamp.
Oh my.
Yeah, but I love this one. The artwork is great. The story's great. It was great that the Man-Thing was kind of, again, with the empathic nature, was kind of brought to this hotel, this building where all this stuff was happening, because he was kind of drawn there by the peril of the child, the baby. sensing kind of all the weirdness that was going on. It's like he's kind of like a magnet for the weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
His empathic nature kind of draws him where strange stuff takes place.
Oh, Margaret just like dressed like Satana or something. You know, she got like this red like hooded cloak on and not much else. Yeah, it's
yeah. And they're all burned alive in the apartment as
yeah.
it goes up in flames. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. Like, when the Man-Thing gets to the building, a cop sees him and just starts shooting at him, and, like, Man-Thing basically just ignores him. It's just...
Yeah, just keeps on walking.
I think it freaks the cop out even more that he's like, oh, yeah, I pumped a couple rounds in him, and he just ignored me.
Yeah, he runs out of bullets. Yeah. What's wrong with you? Why won't you die? He says.
Oh, man, I guess Man-Thing can't use stairs because he falls down the stairs. But yeah, it's just funny. Yeah, they fall out the window. He cushions the baby's fall, and then Man-Thing just, like, takes off. All right. All right, so we get to the next one?
Yeah, let's move on to issue,
the next
story
story,
number 2, rather. Yeah,
which isn't a what's it? God, his name just escaped me.
Steve Gerber.
Steve Gerber. Yeah, it's not a Gerber. It's a Len Wein. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that was a nice little surprise.
Yeah, writer Len Wein, John Buscema, and Frank Springer illustrators, Joe Rosen letterer. Just took that from the first page. Let me see. All right. So yeah, the sins of the fathers. 2 teenage lovers, Kip and Tally, run away from home into the swamps surrounding Citrusville, Florida. Each of them left notes detailing where they have gone. It is Kip's hopes that they will mount a search party and the families will miraculously work out their differences. As predicted, Kip and Tally's parents begin searching the swamp and ultimately run into one another. However, rather than working out their differences, they are at each other's throats. Tally runs off and falls into a patch of quicksand. Her father tries to rescue her, but he cannot reach her in time. The Man-Thing appears and senses Tally's fear. He strides into the swamp, intent on killing her, but she drowns to death before he can reach her. He brings her limp body back to the surface, places it on the ground. Kip, distraught over Tally's death, picks up his father's gun and takes his own life. So yeah, is this a very bummer of an episode here? Story here.
Very, Romeo and Juliet kind of, in the swamp kind of story with these two guys that were business partners long ago.
Yep.
And one of them sold all of his shares just before the company went big and made this other guy a bunch of money. So the other one has been bitter about it the whole time for all of these years and explicitly forbade their kids to ever hang out. But of course the kids disobeyed them. It's a classic. That's also a classic story. Story setup. I love that. But I was kind of the first time I read this, I was expecting after the boy took the gun and shot himself.
Oh yeah,
Man-Thing to rise up out of the quicksand with the girl, and she suddenly started coughing, and
she's still alive.
Yeah, that would add another layer of it. But then she sees him dead. Kind of like a Romeo and Juliet thing. She sees him dead and she grabs the gun. She's like, no, I don't want to live without him. But yeah, this was kind of a bummer of a story. Yeah, it was cool though.
Yeah, because it's like they kind of had the best of intentions. They wanted to get their families together again, but meanwhile, both families pay the price as both kids die.
Yeah.
Because you look at that last panel, it looks like the parents are still arguing as like Man-Thing walks away. It's like, oh jeez. Nobody learned nothing.
Yeah. They'll probably all end up killing each other in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the bitterness over all the resentment over all that will just fester. Yeah.
Because it's not like the story from the number 4 where all the bad people got their comeuppance. No, it's like it's the innocent kids are the ones who paid the price.
Yeah, the kids died in this one. Yeah. Yeah, that was a little bit of a bummer, but I liked it, and the artwork was great.
Yeah,
John Buscema. Yeah. We're lucky that we get 2 issues here with John Buscema artwork in them.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic stuff.
Yeah, number 5 is interesting. Just the fact that we get a couple Man-Thing stories, and each one's written by someone different and drawn by someone different.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
It's cool.
All right, you ready for the next story?
Yeah, Lifeline.
Yeah, this one by Marv Wolfman.
Yeah.
Pencils and Hannigan, inks Tom Sutton, letterers Karen Mantlo. So, all right, let me switch screens here. Get synopsis. All right. Lifeline. A man named Jackson Hunter organizes a mercenary team to track down the Man-Thing. He wants revenge upon the creature for destroying the left side of his face when his burning touch over 2 years ago. Using specially designed emotion tracking technology. Okay.
Oh my.
Oh my. I mean, I guess if you could, if you knew how the man thinks, emotions, or the way he senses emotions, but I don't know. It's a little bit of a stretch here.
A little bit.
They locate the Man-Thing and attack him. Hunter coordinates the strike from his helicopter while the soldiers corral the Man-Thing. During the melee, Hunter decides that it would be better to obliterate the entire region. He fires the chopper's missiles, killing several of his own men, but the Man-Thing survives. One of the remaining soldiers turns against Hunter and fires a rocket launcher at the helicopter, destroying it. As the remaining soldier is no longer a viable threat, the Man-Thing leaves. Oh, that's funny. Again, it's like Man-Thing's just minding his own business, and all of a sudden these troops come in and start.
Yeah.
Again, a nice little sci-fi ending here. Where the evil guy, wants to harm the innocent creature and ends up, just his plot ends up killing him,
blowing up in his face, literally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The part that bummed me out was the little bear cub.
Oh yeah.
You've got Man-Thing, and he's kind of strolling around the swamp in the middle of this stuff, and sees this little bear cub being attacked by all these giant pythons, and they're about to kill it. And then Man-Thing comes along and kills one of the snakes, and then the mercenary guys start attacking him. But then while that's taking place, the little bear cub is still being plagued by these snakes. You can see these panels where he's kind of running away. One of the snakes gets killed by a stray shot from one of the mercenaries, but there's still, all these snakes. And one of them wraps up the bear cub, and there's a panel where the little cub's like flailing around and smacking it in the face with its paw. And then throughout all of this conflagration and this is the part that I love the most about the story. Man-Thing's getting completely assailed by these guys. They're shooting him. They're
like trying to freeze him or something.
They're using electricity, like they're using like this electrical implement to like shock him and all this other stuff. And he's just ignoring all of that. His only focus is this little bear cub, because in the middle of all of this fight, he can see the bear cub still struggling for its life. So that's his priority. He doesn't care that these dudes are trying to kill him.
Oh yeah.
He's walking over in the middle of all this stuff, and there's this panel where the little bear cub's getting wrapped up in the coils of the serpent. And just as Man-Thing picks up the snake to free the bear cub, one of the guys shoots through him, and the shot kills the bear cub.
Yeah.
And you see him cradling the little cub in his hands afterwards. And that's where he kind of loses his mind and starts killing these guys. He throws one of them to the snakes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when that's when the guy in charge is like, "Yeah, fire all the missiles," and starts killing his own guys. And the other guy's like, "Yeah, F me, F you," and shoots the
But I love that in the middle of all this fight, with Man-Thing getting shot up by these guys and attacked mercilessly, his one concern is this little bear cub that he's been watching out for since the beginning of the story happened. I just love that. And to me, that kind of even though this was a Marv Wolfman story, and he didn't write a lot of Man-Thing, to my knowledge, he really got the basics of the character, the really heart and soul of the character. That, all he wants is to be left alone, but he also cares about the suffering of little innocent creatures and wants to see them safe and protected from harm. I love that was the focus, kind of like the little thread that kept running throughout the background of the story. To me, that gave it a lot more weight.
Oh yeah, because it kind of reminded me of some early Hulk stuff, like yeah,
definitely, yeah, like remember the Defenders stuff where the Hulk kind of adopted this deer. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I think Bambi or something like that.
And just the whole Hulk want to be left alone and stuff. Yeah.
That innocent monster that's misunderstood and just kind of wants to be left alone, but is also has an empathic heart, has an empathic nature.
Yes,
and that cares about the suffering of other creatures. I love that. That's so important to showcase in characters like the Hulk and the Man-Thing. It's really important to keep that element of their character at the forefront. Yeah.
But it wasn't even in any of the synopses. But yeah, at the last page is back at the in the past at the fair or whatever, and Ted Sal was just flipping out. It's like, no, you're a fraud. You drugged us.
Believe
or something.
what you will, then. Yeah. But go get out.
And it's just a sad end though, as they're driving away, just to get that whole. They depart in stony silence for the Everglades, where Ted will develop his super soldier serum and Ellen will betray him, and science and sorcery will combine to destroy Ted Sallis and confirm the warnings of fate.
Yeah. It almost feels like there should be the sad piano music of the Incredible Hulk TV show playing as they're driving away.
We'll get some more Ted Sallis in that Marvel 2-in-1, kids.
We will.
Coming up here in a few minutes. But yeah, before we get to that, should we we got to do the Howard the Duck backup.
Yes, we've got to do this one.
It's everyone's favorite Howard the Duck story. Yes. All right, kids. As we said, Hellcow. Yes, that's the title. All right. Hold on. Let me flip this. Yes, of course, it's Steve Gerber again. Frank Bruner, artist. Tom Palmer, inker. Annette Kwayecki, letterer. Glennis Ween, colorist. And Len Ween, editor. Yes, remember, kids, Howard's stuck in. No, not the interdimensional void. Something worse. A prison in Cleveland.
Yeah. After having battled Garko the Man-Frog.
Howard the Duck languishes inside a Cleveland City jail cell. Police Commissioner Gordonsky, it's Gordon and then S-K-I.
Commissioner Gordonsky.
I see you, Gerber. I see you.
Batman, my favorite character.
I went one episode without hitting you, Ray.
Batman, my favorite character.
Yeah.
Can I go too?
Oh, I love it.
Gordonsky mistakenly believes that Howard is a midget, but little person dressed as a duck. He attempts to remove his costume, but is shocked to discover that Howard is a genuine duck. Unwilling to risk public humiliation, he orders Howard's release. I was waiting for it. That's not a zipper, bub. Howard decides to develop a strong reputation in Cleveland in the hopes of one day becoming a police officer. He reads a local newspaper which tells of a series of mysterious farm slayings. That night, Howard masquerades as a human and wanders the city streets in the hopes of luring the killer out of hiding. Suddenly, a vampiric bovine known as the Hellcow swoops down out of the sky and attacks Howard. It kicks him into a auto parts store and attempts to drink his blood. Howard keeps Hellcow at bay with a cross-shaped lug wrench and manipulates her into diving into a pile of tires. As Hellcow attempts to wrest her fangs free from a white wall tire, Howard destroys her with a stake and hammer. Although Howard solves the mystery and saves the day, he is denied the chance to become a police officer. Quite the moving story, wasn't it?
Yeah. You can't help but feel sorry for Bessie at the end of this.
I know, it was basically the origin was what, Dracula one day just really needed blood. So.
Yeah. But late one night, while Hans slept, a desperate stranger came to the little farm. All the doors and windows of the village were locked, and the stranger was very thirsty, but not for milk. Oh, poor Bessie. I love how he uses the lug nut wrench as a cross, and the Hellcow recoils from it, her crimson eyes flaring with rage. The recreant ruminant draws back.
And I mean, they weren't on the app, but there's actually is 2 more stories that are reprints from like old Marvel Tales issues. So,
oh yeah.
So they packed some stories into this thing.
Yeah, this is a full one. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. What do you think of Hellcow?
Again, I love the story. I loved when hearing it on Trapped in a World, and I saw this was in here. I was like, oh, we got to cover that one.
Yeah,
if we don't do the other Howard story, we got to do this one.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, this was reprinted in they did some Tomb of Dracula reprints in the early 90s.
Yeah.
But they also put some random vampire stuff in there too.
Mm-hmm.
And this was one of them. And I'm so glad they did that, because my 13, 14, 15-year-old self was like, oh my God, I love this. This is one of the best things I've ever read in my life.
Exactly.
The Hellcow. And the whole scene in the jail where they're inspecting Howard and they're trying to find a zipper. Just all that is so good. So good.
Yes. But yes, Fear Times 3 takes place a few weeks prior to Salus becoming the Man-Thing in Savage Tales #1. Of course, it's a framing sequence for the Man-Thing stories. Dracula cameo appearance. I knew it. From the party in 6G, it said it was at 345 Clinton Street. This is a likely reference to 344 Clinton Street, the home address of DC Comics character Superman.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I was going to say, cool. I thought he lived on Clinton Street, but yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
And again, I wish they would print the old ads in these, because it's like, yes, this issue includes a Ross Andrew Hostess Twinkies advertisement featuring Captain Marvel and Nitro.
Yes, those Twinkies ads were the best.
Especially like the Hulk ones, but he's like tearing up the street for like Hostess cupcakes.
He murders a bunch of guys. In that one, he crushes them in the rolled up concrete. You can even see the blood coming out.
Hulk Cap Sweet Tooth.
Yeah. Don't get between the Hulk and his toaster strudels.
Oh, they turned those guys into toaster strudels. Oh no! I'm sorry. It was a rap.
A little crunchy.
Oh. All right. Anything else on this issue? Or should we get to the last one?
Yeah, let's get to Marvel 2-in-1.
Yes. All right. All right. Marvel 2-in-1. Okay, we're gonna jump back in time a little bit. Yeah, because Marvel 2-in-1 #1 was January 1974.
Going back a little bit.
Yes, Vengeance of. Oh yeah, because in that what was it? Giant Size, was it #2? When Reed Richards was in it, doesn't Ben reference that he met him in this issue? Yeah,
they do talk about that. I think there was even a little editor's note in there.
Yep, I miss editor's notes.
Oh, me too.
All right, Vengeance of the Molecule Man. Like you said, written once again, another Steve Gerber Man-Thing story. Penciler Gil Kane, inker Joe Sinnott, colorist George Rosis, letterer Gene Izzo, and editor Roy Thomas. All right. The Thing still trying to get home, which we'll talk about where he's coming from. Still trying to get home. He's a magazine cover featuring the Man-Thing in a small town bus station. Upset by the similarity of his and Man-Thing's names, he decides to travel to Florida instead of New York. Talk about petty.
He's gonna go pick a fight.
Hey, you stole my name, kind of. That's I don't know. Is that a kind of a flimsy reason for Ben to encounter the Man-Thing? It's like
I thought so. Yeah, I thought Ben isn't the most enlightened individual on the planet, but I don't think that he would necessarily drive all the way to Florida to pick a fight.
How about the Molecule Man appears in the Florida Everglades and Ben goes to investigate? Something.
There's random, and then there's that.
All right. The Molecule Man, confined to his other dimensional prison, tells his son to avenge him by destroying the Fantastic Four, and then apparently dies. The construct then undergoes a process similar to that which gave Molecule Man his powers. He attempts to teleport to New York City, but instead appears in the Florida Everglades, face to face with the Man-Thing. All right. I won't say anything about face to face with the Man-Thing, kids. Hit him right in the face with that Man-Thing.
Not in the face.
It's so salty.
Oh.
The heart was implied.
God, she has so many drops.
Choke that chicken. He hit him right in the face with that sack. It's so salty.
Which I don't know. I don't know how. Never. I shouldn't say. But I was gonna say I don't know how she knows because you know.
I don't do Twinkies or toaster strudels. Very hard, very tempting. Oh, you don't want to know the things I've done.
I'll teach you not to show up, love.
The only sack I want to be hit in the face with.
The money sack, kids.
Somebody was trying to sneak it in.
The Thing arrives and is surprised to see the Molecule Man. He charges the villain, but the Molecule Man uses his wand, not that one, to transform both the Thing and the Man-Thing back to their human forms. The two men are believed to be human again, but realize they must still stop the Molecule Man before he fulfills his vow to destroy the entire Fantastic Four. By the time they catch up to him, the Molecule Man has reached the nearby town of Citrusville. It is wreaking havoc with the powers of his wand. He even turns an innocent pedestrian into a likeness of Mr. Fantastic and kills him. That was dark.
Yeah.
The Molecule Man notices that Ben Grimm and Ted Sallis seem more compassionate and driven to stop him in their human form than they were in their more monstrous forms, so he transforms them back to the way they were before. It is his wish to see the two destroy each other. The Thing punches his fist through the Man-Thing's body and withdraws a fistful of muck. He hurls the slime at the Molecule Man, striking his wand. The cosmic device flies from his hand and rolls through some cracks in the wreckage. As the wand is the reservoir for his power, the Molecule Man desperately tries to retrieve it. His power levels are quickly depleted and his life essence drains away. After the construct dies, the Thing recovers the Molecule Man's wand, while the Man-Thing instinctively begins lumbering back to his swamp. The Thing hands the now powerless device to a nearby child, because that's not going to blow up in anyone's face.
Yeah, that's not a good idea, but...
All right, so thoughts?
There's a lot that happened in this one film. Yeah, I forgot that there was a second Molecule Man.
Yeah, there was a note here. Okay, the story is ambiguous about the nature of the Molecule Man's son. Official Handbook of the Marvel Universe A to Z number 7 clarifies that in this case, the Molecule Man actually transferred his mind into the body of his son when his creation recreated the accident that gave him his powers.
This is like a mind transfer situation, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about this little piece of Molecule Man story.
Yeah, because it says, although the son, quote unquote, dies here, the Molecule Man's mind lives on in the wand, as revealed in Iron Man Annual 3. That's one of the choices you were thinking about for this episode. Because that would have been a good thing. I mean, we got enough here, but if we would have did this issue in the Iron Man Annual,
That would have led right into. Yeah, we can do that next time.
Yeah.
Do a man thing. We can do that Iron Man annual. Yeah.
But yeah, the Molecule Man remains trapped in the wand until he discovers a way to reform his body in Avengers 215.
Okay. I think I remember that story vaguely.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know this. This 2-in-1 series, it replaced the old Marvel feature series.
Oh, Marvel feature.
Yeah.
No kidding. And the Marvel 2-in-1 went on for a long time.
Yeah, 100 issues. Marvel 2-in-1's 100 issues. Yeah. And then it became like the Thing solo book. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a popular title.
Oh my. The text in the black bar in the upper left side of the cover above the issue number very clearly reads Marvel 2-on-1. Hell.
Oops. Oh my.
I guess they're like, no, let's not go there.
That's a fun Saturday night.
Oh!
Scream it!
Cock-a-doodle-doo!
Again, it doesn't matter who's here. You, Lilith, it's the same dialogue. I don't know.
That's right. It's all interchangeable, you know.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I thought that that Ben's justification for just him going to pick a fight with the Man Thing, I thought was silly. I thought if they had written it maybe like Ben's reading news reports and he sees something random about stories of a monster terrorizing people in the Florida Everglades.
Yeah.
You know, just all these reports of something happening. Maybe even like an article about the Omegaville thing that happened in the first giant-sized man thing. Like maybe Ben reads about that. And it's like, what? There's some monster rampaging down in the swamp. I better go take care of it.
Or even if you want to do the whole stupid name thing, just have like an article or a headline in the Bugle that says, Thing terrorizes Florida Everglades. And Ben's like, well, maybe I should go investigate because, they're either confusing me or, it's not doing me any good.
Right. Yeah. Instead of saying, there's only room enough for one thing on this planet. Okay, Ben.
Meanwhile, he was coming back from like 2 different adventures. It's like, and he's still going to detour to Florida to pick a fight. It's like,
yeah,
because it says, here's another one you guys can cover. The Thing recalls his battle against the Hulk in Marvel feature number 11.
Number 11, yeah, and number 12 was with Iron Man when he battled the Blood Brothers.
Yep.
Yeah, that was some big stuff that happened there.
So that's why it seems weird. This is an issue 1, and it kind of like picks it. It seems like it kind of picks up at the end of something else. So yeah. So
yeah,
I guess
then he's gonna sit on public transport. He's gonna sit on a bus and drive all the way to Florida to pick a fight with the Man Thing.
It's like you can't like pick up a payphone and like call Johnny and be like, "Come pick me up in the Fantastic Car" or something.
Yeah, I mean. He could drive the Fantastic Car, couldn't he? He was a pilot.
Yeah, but I mean, just someone to bring it to him, I guess,
Yeah.
He's not, somebody in New York, come pick me up.
Oh, right. Yeah. Somebody come pick me up in the Fantastic Car. Yeah, this was strange.
I mean, it's 1975, I know, but it's like, Reed Richards can open portals to the negative zone, but he hasn't invented the cell phone yet.
Yeah. A wrist phone.
Something,
like
yeah.
Yeah. I did like the scene where the Molecule Man was going on his rampage in the city and turns that random guy into Reed Richards, and then like stretches him to death, basically.
Rips the little part, yeah. It's so funny. The guy looks exactly like Reed Richards, but he's like, "Oh no, don't kill me!"
I ain't done nothing to hurt you, Mister.
Yeah, talking very un-Reed Richards like, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal, actually. I was surprised by that. I thought, wow, this Molecule Man is not messing around here.
Oh, yeah, because, yes, they do bring up here that, he uses a wand now because then it's revealed in Secret Wars that he needs the wand at this point because of his low self-esteem. Yeah, once he comes the grips with all that, he doesn't need the wand to use his powers.
Yeah. And I was a little disappointed, too, that the battle between the Thing and the Man Thing was only 2 or 3 panels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, well, if you're going to set up this fight, I guess have a little bit more of a payoff.
And we do confirm that Ted Sallis doesn't remember any of his time as the Man-Thing, and they even I think they mentioned in the story, because there's the note here that he was changed back to human one other time, and that's like the last thing he remembers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything's blank in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when he was turned briefly back into human form, battling Thog in Fear 13.
Okay.
It's not Thor, it's a G instead of an R, kids.
Yeah. Another one of those weird monsters from the 60s.
Yeah. Yeah,
there's a lot of those.
That guy, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nice. That almost kind of looks like It, the Living Colossus.
Yeah. Oh, Thog was one of the Hell Lords, originated from the energy released by the battle between the Elder Gods and the Demigorge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's some power.
Mm-hmm.
The Demigorge is a big deal. Yeah.
Well, still while in her teens, I guess. Yeah, she must have. He came in contact with amateur occultist Jennifer Kale. Calling back to last episode. Yeah.
Love it. Good old Jennifer Kale.
Yeah.
I love this part too at the end where Molecule Man he's dying and he's reaching for the wand and Ben's just like, yeah, no, I'm just going to let you die.
Well, again, I mean, if you don't, it's pretty hard to stop.
Yeah. He just stands there and watches him crumble into dust.
Pulling the old Christian Bale. I don't have to. I'm not going to kill you, but I don't got to save you.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it had been Reed Richards there, if Reed Richards had been there instead of Ben, he would have handed that Molecule Man the wand. He'd be like, "Oh no, it's okay. We'll save you."
He at least would have
figure out a way to help you.
He at least would have brought the wand home to examine.
Yeah, he wouldn't have just given it to some random kid to play with.
So you countered the Molecule Man, and where's the wand? I gave it to some kid.
You did what?
What? I mean, I guess as far as Ben knows, it doesn't work. But I'm just
right. But still, he's seen enough crazy stuff at this point in his superheroing career that he should have known better than to give that.
And again, if you don't know that his mind's in there, it's like, what if the thing's booby trapped?
Right?
Maybe this kid's playing with a bomb or something. You don't know.
It could contain the disembodied essence of the Molecule Man and possess the kid for all.
Yeah, I said, maybe he booby trapped it or something. At least,
Right. No, here you go, kid. Have fun. I'm gonna take off and head back to New York.
Just the Man-Thing just walks away. I don't know. I mean, they really didn't go into detail because they probably didn't have the page count. But I think Ben was basically at the end. By the end, was just like, okay, the Man-Thing, let him have the name or whatever, because it's like my condition. It could be worse. I could be that guy.
Right. It always could be worse.
Yeah, because I mean, Ben's transformed physically, but he keeps his mind, and yeah. Poor Ted Sallis doesn't even know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, he's just a blank slate underneath all that moss-encrusted muck.
All right, so
this was a good one though. Yeah. Besides the kind of the flimsy premise at the beginning, and Ben sitting on public transportation, and the weird, some of the weirdness with the Molecule Man. I always thought, to be honest with you, I always thought he was a weird villain, with way too much power. He's way overpowered for a character.
Yeah.
And I always thought he was a weird villain, and that the way he was used was always strange. So anytime that there's a story involving the Molecule Man, I always read it with a pound of salt. Sure, or whatever. Yeah, okay.
You know what? I read this. It was kind of bittersweet because Molecule Man was one of Charlie's favorite characters, like one of his favorite villains.
Really?
Yeah. He loved Molecule Man. Yeah.
We're doing me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had totally forgotten about this Molecule Man 2, the son of Molecule Man.
I know, I forgot that weird thing. Yeah,
with the different look too. I was used to the purple and green costume, like the kind of classic Molecule Man look. So
and like the bald head and stuff. Because I mean, he has hair later. Yeah.
Right. He's got the same facial scar.
Yeah, like almost like
with the lightning bolt marks and things. But yeah, the weird kind of 1970s sci-fi movie.
And I forgot about like the red wand, metal wand thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cosmic rod.
It's a powerful rod.
Man thing, cosmic wands. I mean, we're giving it to you all this episode, kids.
That's right.
All right, same question as last time. I think this is going to be a harder choice than last episode. What was your favorite issue?
My favorite was number 4.
Number 4, yeah.
Giant Sized Man Thing number 4 with the story with Edmund. Yeah, I thought that was, out of the 5 Giant Sized Man Thing issues, I feel like that was the best told story out of all of them.
Yeah, and the best cover, best story.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What about you?
I think I got to agree with you this time. I think number 4 was the best. I mean, I love a classic superhero story, but I think Marvel 2-in-1 was close. But I think again the flimsy premise, kind of just to set up the whole thing. But yeah, it was close. But yeah, I agree with you. I think number 4 was the best. And again, 5 wasn't bad either. I mean, I love the whole fortune teller angle and
really
stuff of 5. Yeah,
the 3 different stories. Yeah, I kind of wish they had done that for some of the other issues. Yeah,
and the Hellcow. I mean, 5 was a big contender. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was a harder choice between these 3 than last episode's 3. Yeah.
I think with Giant Sized Man Thing, they saved the best for the last. The last 2 issues, I think, were the better ones. Yeah, they were all good though. Definitely, all 5 of them were excellent. And
again, number 5 was like a grab bag of different writers. I mean, at least like the other ones, it was all Steve Gerber. Yeah. Got
a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Between last episode and this episode, we got 2 members of the Fantastic Four.
That's right. Yeah, and we saw Johnny briefly too. Yeah.
And again, and remember, like in 2, I said, "Oh, why wouldn't Reed Richards at least examine him?" Okay, Marvel 2-in-1. Now, if no one knew before, Ben knows he was Ted Sallis. Why if not trying to bring Man-Thing back to New York? Why doesn't he say to Reed, "We need to get down to Florida"? I mean, this guy, I know you haven't been able to cure me, but see if you can cure this Ted Sallis.
Right. I met this guy, like we were both transformed back into our human selves for a brief period of time.
Yeah.
And I met this guy, and he's living in this horrible, cursed condition, and we've got to help him out. Yeah, oops. I guess Ben forgot about that.
I guess. I mean, it was a big deal to confront him about the name, but not the, And again, even if Ben...
I guess we see where his priorities are.
Exactly. And again, even if Ben don't know the full story, he knows this guy was a human being that was transformed. You would think if anyone would feel this guy's plight, it would be Ben Grimm.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
But no.
One thing we also didn't get in this 2-in-1 was nobody burned with fear at the touch of the Man-Thing because nobody was scared. Ben Grimm definitely wasn't scared, and neither was the Molecule Man.
And again, half the time he wasn't even the Man-Thing; he was Ted Sallis too. So
right.
Oh, you know what? One of these days we're gonna have to squeeze in Marvel 2-in-1 issue 2.
Oh yes. We are.
Oh, he already knows, kids. Yes, because issue 2 is the Thing in Namor.
Yeah, my favorite biscuit.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh man, I should see if I can throw that on randomly somewhere during your birthday. I might be able to. Because one episode is like the first couple issues of Byrne's Submariner series.
Ooh, nice. Oh, perfect. Yeah, have a nice Submariner issue. Oh, it's an episode rather. Yeah, love it.
Somebody's gonna be wet that episode, kids, but it's not gonna be Namor.
The best kind of birthday. My favorite biscuit. My favorite biscuit. The best kind of birthday present.
Wet half-naked man.
Just what I always wanted, man.
All right, are we done here?
I think so.
All right. I think we've reached the federally mandated amount of man thing and dick jokes allowed by law. So.
We've reached the quote on giant-sized man things for the week.
It's time to go. All right, so yes, like I told you last episode, next time we'll start our November stuff because next episode we'll do our Marvels episode with Captain Marvel 7 and 8 from 2012 and Generations Miss Marvel and Miss Marvel #1 with Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala Khan will all appear in that episode. So
very cool.
And then of course, the 2 episodes after that, again, Ultimate Spider Cast can no longer contain Hobgobble Gobble Month. So, yes, we're going to give you some Jason Macendale episodes here on Marvel Tales. Because
Mac Daddy Macendale.
Because the fans demanded it.
Gobble, gobble.
That's right.
The first episode will be Jason Macendale's first appearance as Jack-o'-lantern from Machine Man 19, which neither of us has read. So,
yes.
And then, and then also appearances from Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme 11, and Deathlock 26.
I don't think I've read either of those.
I don't think I've read it.
Yeah.
And then
maybe the Doctor Strange one, but
it's been 100 years if I have. Yeah, it's been many year if I've read that one. And then the second week of Macendale will be Ghost Rider 16 and 17 when he's full demoned up, kids. So
yes,
that's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Love that one.
Oh, that's right. November we get 5. You get 5 episodes in November, kids. You're welcome.
Oh yeah.
Because the 4th episode will be our big 50th episode, where we're gonna have a big special on the death of Marvel, Captain Marvel.
Yes.
We'll cover
Marvel milestone,
Captain Marvel 29 when he gets exposed. Well, it sets up the death years before the fact. So Captain Marvel 29, his classic battle with Nitro, the death of Captain Marvel. That we'll cover that issue, and then we'll cover What If Volume 2, number 14. What if he had lived? With all of your favorites, Rick Jones, Silver Surfer, again, members of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. That's a good one.
All drawn by Ron Lim, so.
Yeah. That's going to be a great episode.
Yes.
I haven't read some of those in years.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Yeah.
And then we're going to close out November with another Justin pick, Fantastic Four 371 through 375.
Yes. Yep. Some good Tom DeFalco and Paul Ryan Fantastic Four stuff.
Oh, yeah. Johnny's battle at Empire State University. Sue's barely there costume. Yes.
Get a little bit of everything.
Get not 1 but 2 special covers in there.
2 special covers. One of them's embossed and one of them's foil, if I remember right. Prismatic foil or
something like that. Yeah. Yeah, 375, by the FF carrying big guns and wearing vests. Yes.
Yes, that's the one. There's so much 90s in that issue, it can barely contain it all.
Oh my, that's right. All right, so yes, kids, send us your thoughts on all that. Email us, CapesandLunatics. Hey, send your thoughts into November. That's Justin's birthday month, so.
Oh, yes. Yeah, send in your birthday wishes for the owl if you'd like.
He wants feed.
We'll read him on the show.
For a birthday present, he wants feedback.
That's right. Give us some feedback on these issues. We'll play it on the show.
Maybe.
Or some of the ones that we've covered before. If you have any feedback for any of our older episodes as well, we'll play it all.
And if they're nice enough, maybe some pictures of Man-Thing. All right, so send us your thoughts. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And yeah, don't take the euphemism too far. He doesn't want to see any Green Man thing, okay? No.
Make sure it's appropriate.
Yes. Yeah. No. In the comics, it's fine, but in real life, you don't want to get the burning touch of Man Thing. No.
No burning. No burning. Please. Yeah.
All right. So, fine. Oh, God. Fine. I guess we weren't at the limit for Man Thing jokes. All right.
Could always squeeze a few more in there.
Hey-oh! Oh my.
I'm going to the hole on principle. Power of the penis.
You gotta spread them out.
And you say, why didn't you guys invite Lilith this episode and the last one? Well, we did, but I don't know. Stuff's going on down in Mexico.
It's all rape and murder, I'll tell you that. Oh, you don't want to know the things I've done.
All right, kids. Find all things Capes and Lunatics episodes, social media, merchandise, and the Patreon, where you'll find all kind. You'll find uncensored. You think this is bad? I mean, the Patreon is uncensored.
Yes. Yeah. Join me in the Patreon Elite. You get all the perks, all the good stuff. You get all the classic worst superhero movie brackets from last year. Those are all available to listen to. They're all hilarious.
The newest episode we rate, me and Lilith rated Scream Queens on there. There was a discussion of boobs, kids. So so tune in.
Nice.
Uncensored.
Yes, I'm going to be listening to that tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. I have predictions about who both of your number one picks are. I want to see if I'm right.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Again, it's hard, man. This Lilith Hellfire is unpredictable.
She is. She keeps us guessing. I love it.
Lubricated eels are the best.
All right, find it everything at tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. The link is down there in the show notes. All right, this is Justin the Owl, big fan of Giant Sized Man Thing. You can find him here every week on Marvel Tales. You can find him once a month on We Are the Night, the Batman Podcast. Where we talk all things Jean-Paul Valley, Azrael, because Lilith's too good for it. All right, and twice a month on Electric Mullet, the Superman podcast, as we tackle Superman comics in order with Mr. Tyler Patrick, Mr. James Cole. We may have a special guest coming up here in the near future, so stay tuned. And the new show, we only have one episode out so far for a monthly show, so there's time to jump on board. Energon Universe, where we cover all the books out so far. It's just Void Rivals and Transformers #1, but go check that out.
Yes, our newest show. Yeah,
as two old men and a hillbilly talk about Transformers. But if you need more Justin the Owl in your life, there's plenty of more places to get that. So, Justin, tell them where else they can find you.
Yes, you can also find me and my pal Russell over at Gamma Charge, the strongest podcast there is, where we talk about the Hulk twice a month. And we are joined by our friends Ray and Sparky over on Predator and Prey, the Yucha podcast, where also twice a month we talk about Fox's Predator in comic books, movies, and much more. Russell and I also co-host Gone the Form of Man, the Etrigan podcast, where we talk about DC's Demon, going all the way back to the 70s. And last but not least, the Lost Library of Legends. By the time that this episode is out, I should have at least one more episode out for everyone to listen to. Maybe even two, if I get a little bit of extra time. Scream at!
Tap, tap, tapping my way downtown. Well, that escalated quickly.
As it always does with Man Thing, right?
Yes. With giant-sized man things, especially. Things escalate very quickly.
It's a grower and a shower, kids. It's like a mighty raging river. Once the dick jokes start, they cannot stop. God, it would have been 20 times worse if Lilith was here. They would screw it. Just wasn't here. Or wrestle. All right, kids. Come back for all the Marvels next time. Remember, take care of your Man Thing. Good night.